you thought the historic sim racing community took a break on week 13, you'll be surprised to learn that they actually go harder in the paint on their week off with a race with 3 classes instead of the newly minted IMSA Vintage Series normal GTOs and GTPs, and they're adding the Lotus 79 to the mix. Will the drivers be able to hang tough with the new variable, or will some of the old-fashioned camel chaos ensue? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch the KameLotus Grand Prix of 79, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Adam Lindgren, and with me in the booth is Sebastian Holmico. Behind the scenes is our director, Robert O'Brien, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Mugello has long been the site of many exciting races throughout many different series, but it's never hosted a Formula Series and a sports car series on the track at the same time. To learn what it is normally used for, let's take you down to our track guide.
Welcome to Autodromo Internazionale del Mugello. Only an hour north of Florence and owned by motorsport royalty Ferrari, this is a popular Italian track. With a short layout consisting of 7 turns and the GP layout having 15, the full length runs about 3¼ miles, or 5¼ kilometers. It weaves through the Italian hills with pretty much nothing but long, sweeping corners. It makes for spectacular views for spectators and drivers, but difficulty in nailing overtakes. The main spot for that will be into the first corner of San Donato. From there, a climb up through a series of corners that switch back and forth eventually plunges down through Casanova and Savelli. This is where speeds pick up greatly, and the compression up through the first Arrabbiata brings you to the blind crest of the second. Things finally slow back down just a bit with 2 final hairpins at Corientaio and Buccini. Make sure you get the exit right on that last one. It's more than a kilometer run down the main straight. This track was built in 1973, but has seen continual improvements and has hosted the Italian Grand Prix for motorcycles for many decades. In recent times, it finally saw an official round of the Formula One Championship in 2020. With the virtual version now arriving on iRacing, fans from around the globe can experience this breathtaking romp around the Italian countryside.
Well, Sebastian, that's what racing around here is supposed to look like, but we've got 3 very different classes here. How are they going to be handling this famous circuit?
That's true. Tight corners and very tricky elevation changes. 5.24 kilometers, 15 turns here tonight. Yeah, in the beautiful Tuscany. We have seen that track, I think, most memorably in F1, but here with our classic cars on this classic track, it's very narrow, normally just driven by motorcycles. And yeah, it will be a blast with the different classes.
Absolutely. And so to talk to you about these different classes, it's going to be our race details. We got a special event here, 40 minutes out there for these cars. It's going to be the Nissan GTP, the Audi GTO, and the Lotus 79 out there on track. They've got open setups so they can set up the car however they like or dislike. And they've got 1 spare car out there, even for the 40-minute time frame. So everyone should be able to make a finish today. A drive-through penalty at 17 incidents and a disqualification at 25. But with all the changes in direction, it's going to be a little bit challenging for them to tackle that and to, quite frankly, get a drive-through without causing some damage. Out there on track right now, we've got qualifying going on, and the 3 different classes are separated by interesting time frames. It's 5 seconds between the GTPs and Lotus 79s, with the GTPs being faster, and then 18 seconds between the GTPs and the GTOs. So that 18-second gap is the one I'm stressed about, Sebastian, when it comes to the multi-class action here.
Yeah, and also it's the difference. Is it a cornering speed? Is it the speed on the straight line? How do the cars behave in the braking zones? And that's the tricky part. I mean, everyone who has driven in iRacing multi-class races knows the drill, but it gets very, very difficult if the cars are from the time so narrow together.
First car times are coming in. Javier Del Olmo currently on a provisional pole position with a 131.461. We saw 130s in practice from the GTPs. We've got a 135.725. That's about 5/10 off for our for our Lotus 79 drivers. And then Mickey Friesen currently on a provisional pole position in the GTOs with a 149.1.
And as you can see how the car behaves on braking here in the qualifying. And you see those cars in the real world just as at classic events, but it's so great to have them here in the sim, to drive them on iconic tracks. And yeah, it's just the sound, it's the visuals, it's the style of driving.
So Alex Ott right now on the provisional pole position over Javier Del Olmo. He goes a 129.389. That's a very quick time, fastest we've seen today. With Mickey Friesen, Escaleta Niemi jumping up to the GTO provisional pole, and Hugh Haycock's up to the Lotus 79 provisional pole. We're on board with Oyer Saniola, and he's going to be trying to set a faster time than the 135.725 that he has previously. Currently in third position, 2/10 off of Hugh Haycock.
And to ride that horse again, if you see these round mirrors, the Momo wheel, and even driving in VR, this is just the thing what iRacing is all about here with these classic cars.
And he does set provisional pole position for his class up there with a 134.7, so a very fast time. Still quite a few drivers who have not set qualifying times yet. Jorge Nieve is not one of those drivers, currently crossing the line, putting himself up into what is that going to be an improvement? The answer is yes, nearly a second up to fourth position, so a good lap from him. But Shady Ahmad, Martin Kraytrick, Alfonso Fernandez, and Christian Arribas have not set qualifying times in the GTPs. Here's Martin Kraytrick as he's trying to set his first qualifying lap. He comes around the corner here and back onto the back straight. The GTP very quick around here. A ground effect car is the GTP, so that undertray creating a lot of downforce for him out there.
Of course, the downforce is very good in these corners. To take all the speed with you, have the confidence, so the car doesn't spin, but it is a classic car, so there's not much to aid you around the corners. And here the time is clocking in at 1 minute 32 seconds 289.
So Kraytrick will have time to go around and complete his second lap, as will Brendan Lynn, who's going around as well. Danny Schweitzer still has to set a time in the Lotus 79, currently in 7th position, as well as Alfonso Fernandez and Shady Ahmad, who are both on their second laps trying to set good times in those machines. We see Martin Kraytrick pulling over, and here is Brendan Lynn. We're riding on board with him as he's going to try and set a better time than his current 7th. Will he cross the line? We see Alfonso Fernandez up to 3rd position. Brendan Lim bumped down to 8th. And then Brendan Lim crosses the line, and does he improve? The answer is no, unfortunately.
And Kraytrick went wide after the corner, and there was the off track, so he stopped his lap.
Emerson Gaudin on his second lap is going to cross the line, and that is not going to be a faster time for him. A 150.917 puts him 2 seconds off of his nearest rival, unfortunately. So that's going to... We still have one driver left on track, Shady Ahmad, who absolutely will have time to complete this lap with 1:52 to go and on to the back half now.
And there's no much wiggle room for mistakes with these qualifying laps here, and also with the track limits. But everyone pushing as far as they can go. Maybe too far, as we have seen with Kraytrick.
Shady Ahmad through the quick S's at the back of the course, and then this long, sweeping, banked left 180. We've seen a lot of GTBs carry a lot of good speed through. Shady taking a decent amount of brakes. Looks like he doesn't have that much downforce on the front end. Pushing a lot out of that corner, but gets onto the back straightaway. Is he going to set a banker lap to set himself into qualifying? The answer is, will that time stick? The answer is yes. It's a 2:23. It doesn't look like it actually stuck, so unfortunately that's going to be a non-qualifying time for him, but that is going to be everyone having their opportunity for qualifying, so that will take us to the grid. All right, this is going to be Alex Ott starting off on provisional pole position with Aitor Sintes Galindo in 2nd position. Alfonso Fernandez starting off on row 2 next to Javier Del Olmo. Alex Calvo Marti in 3rd position with Martin Kraytrick down there in
in 5th position, with Martin Krajcik down there in 6th, and Zafir Baka in 7th, and Brendan Lim in 8th position. Shady Ahmad and Christian Arribas were in the GTPs and did not set qualifying times. On to the Lotus 79, Sebastian.
Hugh Haycox in P10. And we go to the next starting grid page with Mathis Victon in P11, Danny Switzer in P12, Jorge Nieva in P13, Byron Long in P14, Barry West in P15, completing row 8, Andreas Schuster in P16, Mickey Friesen in P17, Esko Leitinimi in P18, Ian Haycox in P19, and Doug Cloud in P20.
All of those from Andreas Schuster on down were in the GTO class. Then we've got Emerson Gaudin in the 21st position overall, going to be starting off down in the 8th position in the GTOs. And then we've got the drivers who didn't set the qualifying times, Tim Hendrickson in the Lotus 79s, and as mentioned previously, Shady Ahmad and Christian Arribas in the GTPs. All of our GTOs did end up setting qualifying times, however, so Emerson Gaudin the last of those. They are going to take a full pace lap, and it's going to be 3 different class starts, likely separated by about 3 to 5 seconds between each. The track temperatures today, fairly cool. 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius, with a very light wind out of the north, 46% humidity. Humidity is not going to really play a factor in traction out there. Sebastian, these are pretty ideal conditions for a race here at Mugello.
Yeah, I would say so. It's not too hot on the track surface, so that always is a treat for the drivers, especially with less assist in these classic cars instead of the modern cars. Yeah, so I guess these are the ideal conditions for racing here, and also to go a little bit off the racing line for overtakes.
Absolutely. So 3 classes out here for what I believe is the first time in one of these Week 13 sessions. It's a hosted session put on by the vintage community. And we've got the GTPs out here, we've got the Lotus 79s, and then we've got the GTOs. It's going to be a very interesting race to see the lap differences between the 2 cars. 18 seconds between the GTPs and the GTOs, with the Lotus 79s in between only 5 seconds behind the GTPs. But once we start getting into that multi-class action, Sebastian, this track, it may look wide on screen, but it feels very narrow with all the switchbacks.
Yeah, not only the switchbacks, but also the angles of the corners make it difficult to know where your next guy is, where the guy exactly is, where you want to overtake him, and maybe you're crossing his path, and then you're doomed because there will contact being made.
Absolutely, and you have some experience watching cars go around the Nürburgring, and you've seen a lot of different cars and different vehicles of different performance types go around there. What is your advice to these faster classes when coming up on a slower class?
Yeah, they have to read them, and they have to know how the car behaves in front in a in the corner, so they can make the move on the brakes or maybe on the acceleration out of the corner, and plan ahead, like have the also the strategy of overtaking.
Andreas Schuster on pole position for the GTOs with Mickey Friesen next to him. The GTOs, we do actually have, it looks like the other classes, that the slower drivers from the other classes tucked in behind our GTOs, so that will make the GTO first lap very exciting. There you see Tim Hendrickson in the Lotus 79 and Shady Ahmad in the GTP. This is going to make the start for the GTOs and these 2 faster classes very exciting. Alex Ott ended up taking pole position in the GTPs, as most mentioned earlier. Heitor Sintes Galindo next to him. These are 2 very fast drivers. Javier Del Olmo, last year's Camel GT GTP champion, and the previous season's Camel GTO champion. The first driver ever to take both of those championships back-to-back. Lining up in 4th position, with Alfonso Fernandez joining us in 3rd position in the GTPs.
Yeah, also greetings to Tim Hendrickson at the back of the grid. He's also one of the some of the best skippy drivers in the world.
There we see two of our drivers on board here. That's Doug Cloud on the left side. And then on the right side, it's Alex Ott joining us on the right side as well. Alex Ott currently pole position in the GTPs. But we're coming up to the final corner. The Porsche pace car will pull off to the right-hand side after we go through this final corner and release Alex Ott to lead the grid to the front.
This is always a special moment. Waiting for the safety car to go into the pit lane and then make your move when you're ready to go to outsmart the rest of the field.
Alex Ott's waiting for the green flag. Looks like he's going to wait for it to be flown by the flagman, but he jumps a little bit early and catches everyone out behind him. Heitor Sanchez Galindo is going to be the next one to jump with Alfonso Fernandez tucking it behind him. That's going to be Martin Krajcik down there in the 5th position with Alex Calvo, Brendan Lim, and Xavier Baca rounding out your GTPs. But let's go to the Lotus 79 start, Sebastian.
Looking beautifully. Going 3 wide. No, tucking into the 2 wide line. And that's the tricky part to position your car right now, and Danny is going, it's looking good for it.
Our pole position driver in the Lotus 79s, whereas Zamiola is already into the pits, unfortunately, and we got contact in the GTOs. Andreas Schuster, who was leading out of turn 1, is now gone around. He's still going to be able to recover that car, but Doug Cloud inherits the lead.
Yeah, so it's the lead for Doug, but yeah, that's totally a thing off the start. It worked well in the first 2 classes, but here the leader got taken out in the first corner.
So Doug Cloud currently leads the GTOs ahead of Emerson Gaudin and Mickey Fries, and Doug's out to a little bit of a gap of the lead right now. There we're looking out his front as he has clear track up ahead of him. Shady Ahmad's trying to cut his way through the Lotus 79 class right now in the GTPs. He was the GTP driver who started out in the back of the field. There, right on board with Doug Cloud as he's calmly taking the first couple of corners here at Mugello. He knows that this is going to be the smoothest his race is going to go today.
And how good it is to see the H pattern shifter here in good use in the hands of Doug.
Good battles going on in the Lotus 79 class. Jorge Nieva and Tim Hendrickson duking it out with each other for 4th and 5th positions. As looks like Tim Hendrickson's having a little bit of a slow lap right now, coming out of that corner a little bit slowly and falling back, but riding on board now with Danny Spitzer, who's currently in 2nd position in the Lotus 79s, trying to make a move on our leader. That's Hugh Haycox. He's going to look to the inside, but think better of it. Hugh Haycox taking it a little bit deep into turn 1, but able to late apex it and come out on top.
And also maybe having a look in the mirror on Danny, who was closing in the slipstream. But here we are already, in a different territory with different classes right next to each other. There was also some flashing already.
Yeah, this is Shady Ahmad, who's tucked in behind Danny Spitzer, and Shady's going to take that apex away. Danny's going to back off just a little bit, but looks like Shady might actually be holding up Danny on exit. Danny backs off a tiny bit, but he's losing time to Hugh Haycox up ahead. It's about, it's going to be about 1.5 seconds. Between himself and Hugh Haycox, but hopefully he can catch that trap from Shady and drag himself up further. Up at the front of the GTP field, Alex Ott is out to a 2.5-second lead over Heitor Sanchez Galindo, and Doug Cloud still holds a 7/10 lead over Emerson Gaudin down in the GTOs.
Yeah, so the leaders are set in the moment, but I can see in the midfield there's much tight gaps where battles will commence.
Absolutely, taking a look at one of those battles right now. This is with Emerson Gaudin and Mickey Friesen. Friesen tucked in behind Gaudin. He takes an early braking that allows Escoleta Niemi to join him as well. So Escoleta Niemi tucked in right now behind Friesen. The top 4 in the GTO starting to come back together, but looks like Gaudin might have missed a shift on exit there. That brings him back into the clutches of Friesen and Letaniemi. These 3 cars now nose to tail for 2nd position. Gaudin taking a wide apex, Friesen deciding on a tight apex. Friesen's going to wash out from the inside of the corner, and now here we go back onto the front straight. Now it looks like Friesen's got a good run. The question is, can he get it done before turn 1?
And will he open up or will he stay on the defending line? And he does. So it's, yeah, round the outside or nothing.
So Friis is going to try and look around the outside. Gaudin's going to try and outbrake him. They're going to go side by side into turn one, but that's going to give the corner to Gaudin. Friesen unable to put the power down, but Gaudin wide off of the apex is going to allow Friesen to come back alongside. It's side by side they go as they bring Ian Haycox into the battle. Let's go Letanami looking on a little bit of contact between the two of them on the exit of the corner as Gaudin and Friesen still side by side as we head towards the next switchback. Friesen a little bit farther back.
And they're giving each other good room for racing, but of course the cars behind them are closing in. So from a two-way battle, this is a four-way dance now.
Absolutely, and Doug Cloud out to 2 seconds of a lead because of these drivers being side by side. The Audi GTO is performing as expected, putting on a great show here around Mugello, and still about 30 seconds back to the first of our GTPs, Alex Ott, who still has clear track ahead of him and clear track behind him to the tune of 3.3 seconds.
Just a thing of beauty, how the cars look, how they sound, and the possibility again to drive them on the track. Just lovely.
Yeah, riding on board with Ian Haycox as he's tucked in behind this battle, trying to benefit from all these drivers battling. Tucked in behind them. He's going to try and make his way up to that third position. Looks like we've had a couple of different drivers having wrecks. Danny Spitzer is going to be the next driver to go away. Jorge Nieva recently took a spin off of the final corner and made contact. We're going to take a look at what happened to Danny here.
And Danny was in P2, had clean air, yeah, but still spun on the tricky curbs here. Maybe the curb is clipping there with a sharp corner. No, he's spinning still in front of it before he hits the curb. So a little bit of oversteer, I would say.
Looks like Mickey Friesen has gotten by Emerson Gaudin now for P2 in the GTOs. We'll go back to a battle in the GTPs. This is between Javier Del Olmo and Alfonso Fernandez. Alfonso doing a great job here, starting off in P3. Fell afoul of Javier Del Olmo on the first lap, but has now gotten back in his tire tracks and is trying to make that pass.
And he needs to get onto the podium step, the Iberian driver. So, yeah, the prize is way up ahead. And he smells already the blood in the water to get onto the podium. If he can stay in the slipstream, there is a good chance on the next round, on the next lap around.
So Fernandez trying to hang on to those tire tracks of Javier Del Olmo. You see just how many times that Mugello switches back and forth on the racing line. You can see just how loose they have these cars set up to maximize. Look at the closing on braking that Alfonso gets there, able to close right into the back of Javier Del Olmo and stay right with him on exit. If he could do that as he exits the final corner, he might have a pass opportunity set up. You could see just how loose Javier is on braking, the car very neutral through the center of the corner.
That's also maybe a different approach to the setup of the car and the driving style of both drivers, of Olmo and Fernandez. And yeah, maybe this is now the time of decision for this battle. Gap looking good.
Absolutely, 4/10 and growing. Javier Del Olmo getting a good exit off of the final corner means Alfonso is not going to have an opportunity to make the pass there. Down in P4 for the Lotus 79s, Brian Long and Barry West have been duking it out this battle for quite a while. We're going to jump on board with Tim Hendrickson, who's also looking up ahead at Matthias Weichen in the second position.
And Tim Hendrickson, of course, knows how to drive open wheelers. All over the iRacing service, you will find Tim Hendrickson in the cars.
Sorry, the GTP leaders are cutting through the GTOs right now. Aitor Sanchez Galindo in second position, tucked in with all of our GTO leaders, and this is starting to get a little bit tense for Aitor. He's just making his way by the leaders, but getting slowed up significantly. But Aitor Sanchez Galindo about 3 seconds ahead of Javier Del Olmo, who's now in the pack as well.
And I hope they did not sharpen their knives too much while cutting through the slower classes. Looked good up to this point. But of course, this also creates battles between the same class cars.
That's Emerson Gaudin trying to pull ahead of Escalista-Nami. They're in front of Alfonso Fernandez. He's trying to find his way through. Alexi-Nami finally gets Gaudin, and that's going to free up Fernandez. But Fernandez lost 2 seconds to Javier Delomo in that battle.
And that's the treasure of multi-class racing, of course. It's a take and give between the classes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But this is a view.
Absolutely, Alex Calvo-Marti trying to hang on to that 5th position. Xavier Baca, known for being fairly aggressive in his passes, looking like he's going to try and make another one around the outside of Marty. He's going to take it in, and Marty washes out wide, makes a little bit of contact, and Baca hangs on to it, and the GTOs scatter to avoid him. Fortunately, Baca able to survive that. Ian Haycox pushed a little bit wide there by Emerson Gaudin, and now back going. But here is Marty still trying to push his way through the GTOs. He takes the apex away. Martin Krajcik very loose earlier, able to hang on to it. The GTPs still in the chaos of the GTOs right now.
Great avoidance and perfect performance off track.
Absolutely. Taking a look at Hugh Haycox here, back there in the 10th, back there in 1st position. Tim Hendrickson currently down there in 2nd. Hugh Haycox in the 79s. Shady Ahmad in the GTPs, just getting past Hugh Haycox here. So Haycox doing a good job of hanging on to that position. Tim Hendrickson, though, he's under pressure. Rather, he's putting pressure on Matthias Weitschen right now.
I think they switch positions back and forth at the end of the last lap. And now they're back again behind. Tim behind. There we got it. At least he was side by side.
Ooh, a little bit of contact between the two of them and a spin, unfortunately. So that's absolutely what caused it. And then Tim Hendrickson slowing down to give back the position, and that's what's brought these top 3 in the 79s together.
Yeah, but also great sportsmanship, and that's also a thing which this race series needs and goes for.
So Tim Hendrickson now in the back of Matthias Weitschen for the 2nd position. Lead in the GTOs just changed hands for a brief moment. Doug Cloud getting passed by Mickey Friesen, and Mickey Friesen passing back Doug Cloud. Here is that battle. Coming out of turns 4 and 5, it's going to be Doug Cloud and Mickey Friesen tucked in behind one another. Mickey Friesen trying to put pressure on Doug Cloud. It seems to be working. Doug Cloud had to give up the corner through turn 1 in order to allow Friesen to get by, but that did the over-under through that corner in order to get the position back. Mickey Friesen right on the back of Doug Cloud now as they start to go into the sweeping back half of this course. This is where the Audis really struggle.
Yeah, Arrabbiata 1 and 2 are, of course, difficult for these cars to get the power down, but also to turn in. And I don't know how the tires behave with these first tight corners and then very fast corners.
They've got Jorge Nieva tucked in behind them. Jorge's in 6th position in the Lotus 79s, trying to do a recovery drive. The Lotus 79s do not have the corner exit speed that the Audi GTOs have. You can see there, the newer turboed machines just spool up a lot faster, but the Lotus 79s are 5 seconds a lap faster on average. So Jorge's going to have to find his way by. And oh, look at that. Doug Cloud sliding wide off of the apex. You can see it just up ahead of Mickey Friesen, the blue GTO ahead of us. And now Jorge's going to be free to go on this straightaway. But don't take your eyes off of Friesen. He might have an opportunity on Doug Cloud, but they get to similar top speeds here. Niev is still side by side with Doug Cloud as we get to the end of the straightaway. This is a fascinating moment of multiclass here.
Yes, it is. That's what we all waited for, but it did work out in the end. But yet still, yeah, it's a difficult thing of dirty air mixed within the different cars, and as you said, the exit speeds of the Audis is just superior.
And now our leaders in the Lotus 79s trying to make their way through the GTOs, we've got Matthias Weitjen, who's going to be catching up to a three-way battle for 5th position between Ian Haycox, Andreas Schuster, and IMSA Camel, and he's now stuck behind these guys as they go through the switchback section. Weitjen's going to make it past Gaudin, and so is Hendrickson. Oh, this is going to hold him up, and Weitjen gets blocked by Andreas Schuster, and that allows Hendrickson to go by.
And that's the point. You look into the mirrors, and then it doesn't work out because you want to give space, but the car behind did not expect it.
We're still going to get some more of this as Andreas Schuster holding up Danny Svitzer, who's in the 7th position. He's a lap down from these leaders in the Lotus 79. So you can see here, Weitjen trying to hang on to the back of Hendrickson as they go through this traffic. The traffic in their own battle. It's going to be causing a little bit of a holdup for these guys.
Ooh. Yeah, that's difficult.
Oh no! And Hendrickson loses the position as Weitjen tucks in. This battle being defined by the multiclass, Sebastian.
Yes, and he's still going, he's still behind, the battle is still hot and on. It would be a shame if somebody crashes out or spins out with these situations. But it's a back and forth, and it's a give and take, and that's just great.
The strong draft below 79, pulling Hendrickson back into Weitjen, but he had his best opportunity and unfortunately lost it due to the multi-class action. But he's now going to have to try and do it on track as 24 minutes to go. They're probably going to go through the Audis one more time before this race is over, but it's going to be close. All of the Audis from first on back to 6th tucked in within about 3 seconds of one another, so they're the only class that is not strung out so far.
And that's then also the difficult part. At the end of the race, where it's going 4 positions, and then the Audis are so close together, and also we all know you don't want to mess up their race also.
Yep, so there is Doug Cloud up ahead of the entire Audi field, all in one shot right there. The pink Lotus 79 that was coming around the corner, that marks the beginning of the Lotus 79 class is still trying to pass them. So the entire Audi class is really causing an issue for our faster classes out there. We're riding on board with Doug Cloud now. There he is in the lead of the pack, only by 0.6 of a second. And all of these Audis know that they have an opportunity to win this race if they just stay nose to tail right now. So they're not feeling like they want to battle at the moment. They're just trying to let the faster class go through and not lose too much time.
And that's the great thing. I mean, they all know how to drive the car, of course. They wouldn't be so close together if they didn't. And yeah, for the other faster classes, it's a real struggle then in the end. And with race then closing and fighting for the sweet podium spots, yeah, that will be a good meal.
Do you know how the Lotus 79s just made their way through? Well, the GTPs are about to make their way through for the second time. That's just how much faster they are. Here is a pass, though, for the lead. Hugh Haycox, or rather Escalante trying to make the move on Doug Cloud. He's got a nose ahead of him, but Doug late brakes and is on the inside. He's going to take that corner away, but Doug struggling to get off of the corner. They've got Barry West of the Lotus 79 in that battle as well, and Doug gets turned across Esco! Doug's going to be able to get back going, but Escalante unfortunately making some contact with Doug Cloud. It's going to put him in the lead, but he's put off track. Here comes Ian Haycox as he's going to try and make his way. Alex Ott, our leader of the GTPs, stuck in behind this. He can't go anywhere. Almost gets rear-ended by Mickey Friesen. It's chaos out there.
Yeah, it's chaos, and you could see it on Doug's face on the cam before. He had a slight smile on the face in turn 1, which turned to a grimace of horror as he spun.
Doug Cloud 5 seconds behind Emerson Gaudin at the back of the pack now, and Escalante not showing any signs of slowing. So Ian Haycox is going to have to get this done on track. Aitor Sintes Galindo is going to sneak by him, having gained quite a few seconds on Alex Ott through all that traffic, but he's going to lose it here as he's tucked in behind Escalante Niemi. He's going to take away the apex because he's got to the Audi GTO, but finally he gets going. Ian Haycox looks like he missed a shift. He's going to let Mickey Friesen go by, and here comes Andreas Schuster to try and take that position away that left the door open from Ian Haycox.
And they're already side by side again, but as you can see here at Mugello, the switchbacks are the point, and also the point of concern for the multiclass racing, as we have seen. But the most of the Audis are still close together.
The same can't be said for the other classes. Alex Ott out to 6.5 seconds over Aitor Sintes Galindo in the lead of the GTPs, and the low 79s We're looking at the battle for second. That's 12 seconds behind Hugh Haycock's in the lead of the 79s. This is the battle for second between Weitjen and Hendrickson. Weitjen taking it quite wide through the first of those switchbacks. So Hendrickson with a good opportunity here, but unfortunately tucked into the dirty air of Weitjen. Even though it's not as much of a problem as it is in modern Formula One, the dirty air off of these 79s still causes a problem for the downforce of the car behind.
Yes, and you need to be close. We have seen they are on very similar pace, and every mistake is costly. And they also know that the traffic will come again, so it's a huge stress at halftime of the race.
Absolutely. So Hendrickson still trying to chase down Weitjen. They've done this time and time again. But can Hendrickson get the exit that he needs off of the corner to stay within fighting grasp of Weitjen? The answer is yes. Only a quarter of a second this time. This should be side by side through turn one. But can he get the job done through the corner? Let's find out.
Around the outside, which was a bad position before. Oh, and yeah.
But look at that. Weitjen took it very deep, made contact with Hendrickson. If Hendrickson keeps that in mind for next time, he might be able to get on the brakes a little bit harder and send him out wide. There we see Jorge Nieva, who's really struggling to keep the car on track this race. He's off on the outside. He's back in the 6th position. Only one driver is struggling more than him, and that's Danny Schweitzer in the number 6 machine in the Lotus 79s. But there we see Jorge struggling to get that car going. But Tim Hendrickson, I think he's a little upset now, Sebastian. He's putting the real pressure on Weitjen now.
Yeah, could be. But as I know him, he will drive with a smiling face with a knife between his teeth. So, yeah, he will try every move to get past, but of course not unfair. So, yeah, it will be fun. 19 minutes for him to get in P2.
3 attempts as they go through this corner. The question is, can he keep that gap closed on the exit of the final corner to try and cut his way through? He's lost a little bit of time, up to 4.5 tenths now as they go into the final corner, but he's going to close the gap a little bit on corner entry. A little loose there, you saw. And he's going to power out. Oh, we've got a lead change in the GTOs, though. Nicky Friese and Esko Letiniemi. Letiniemi went deep through the first chicanes, and now they're side by side for the lead of the GTOs. And Tim Hendrickson, he might have an opportunity here. He might try to make the move to the inside. He is going to, and that's going to put Weitjen on the outside for the first time. Got to try and hold on to it.
Still side by side a little bit. Next right-hander, some wiggle there.
Oh, a little bit of bump on the sausage curb, and there he goes. Hendrickson's around.
A little bit too tight. A little bit too tight. Then hit the sausage curbs.
Oh no, Javier Delhomo's blown his engine. In the GTPs, our 3rd place driver in the GTPs has blown his engine, and he's now headed to the pits with no engine left.
Oh no, and that's a barbecue you don't want to have.
So unfortunately, he's now in the pits. Our leaders in the GTPs, while they're 6th and 7th in the GTPs, streaking through our GTO leaders as we take a look at what happened here with Javier. It's going to be an interesting moment. This happened quite a bit earlier than the end of the lap. Let's see what happens here. He's going past one of the Lotus 79s. He's going to come through this corner here. Let's see where this happens. I'm going to guess he's going to come through this right-hander, and it'll probably be in the entry to the final corner where it'll happen. So here we go through the final chicanes, and now let's... Money shift through the chicane, it looks like.
Quite strange between the chicanes, but...
Yeah, and let's take a listen to this as he goes through the corner. Money shift right there. Unfortunate for Javier Delhomo. But fortunately, it's not a points-paying race, so... While his his day isn't done, he's got a spare car, so he probably has gone in and taken it. In fact, he is out right now. He's tucked in behind the battle for the leaders in the GTOs, and he just made his way through, but now down there in 5th position, well down in the field.
Yeah, time to recover, but there isn't much time with 16 minutes to go. So P3 is gone, that's for sure.
Looks like Tim Hendrickson's still in the pits getting his damage repaired. Possibly didn't check that quick repair box, but unfortunate for him. Leaders in the GTOs still only separated by about 1.5 seconds, but Everson Gaudin and Doug Cloud have fallen off the back of that group ever since that contact that we saw on screen. That being said, the lead in the Lotus 79s has closed substantially. Ever since being freed up from Tim Hendrickson, Matthias Weitjen has closed the gap to Hugh Haycox, and it's now down to 0.7 of a second. It's possible Hugh used up his tires too early in the race, Sebastian.
Wasn't the gap quite big between...
It was around 10 seconds, yes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Hugh Haycox
or did
losing
something
time.
happen to Haycox? Is it just the tires? I mean, you have the experience to tell us that. Is it just the tires, or must have been something happened?
It was something that happened. It happened on lap 14, 2 laps ago for Hugh Haycox. I'll go back and take a look at what that was. But in the meantime, Weitjen right on the back of Hugh Haycox, and Hugh is trying to hang on to the lead at this point.
Yeah, I would have just been wondering if iRacing puts out a tire model which is so sensitive to good or bad driving.
You know, I'll be straightforward with you. I actually think that he slowed down. I think he slowed down to make a battle happen.
Ah, okay, some more sportsmanship shown by Tim Hendrickson, and now at this point by Haycox to have some more intense battle here.
Well, it's important to remember that this is an exhibition race, so if you're not out there having fun, then you might as well create some. So Hugh Haycox and Matthias Weitjen separated by only about 0.5 of a second here for the lead of the Lotus 79s. Alex Ott still out to a 7-second lead over Heitor Sintes-Galindo in the GTPs. And then Esko Letiniemi in a very tight fight with Mickey Friesen, and he's actually going to be in big trouble here because Friesen's got a good run and is taking it to the outside. The question is, the outside's been a bad place to pass all day, Sebastian, and Mickey get it done.
And the flames are firing while shifting. And this time around the outside again was a bad place for nearly everyone. And maybe he tries to get, just slot in and try at another time. And also he maybe sees in his rear mirror that some more faster traffic is approaching.
Obviously, that's Brian Long in the Lotus 79. Fourth position, he's got about 15 seconds up to Barry West ahead of him, the 79. Proving to be a very dangerous machine to drive today. But Byron Long trying to find his way through. Friesen being very cautious, I can see, through these switchbacks, making sure to always be able to sight where Byron is going to be and make sure that he has enough speed differential between his maximum performance and what he's driving so that he can avoid Byron if anything were to happen.
And now all three classes together here.
Now that's Alex Ott, our leader in the GTPs, who's trying to cut his way through this traffic. And now, because of that cautious driving for Friesen, he's fallen into the clutches of Ian Haycox and Andreas Schuster.
That could be. Sometimes it's always a good strategy to plan ahead when you leave the cars go to maybe make trouble for the car in front. But here he lost some momentum, he lost some time, and has to look more in his rear mirror than up to the leader.
On the battle for the 79s, tucked in right behind Ian Haycox right now, and they're very close, nose to tail, with Heitor Sintes-Galindo second place of the GTPs, wanting to get by 2. It's going to be 3 wide across the stripe with Ian Haycox next to Weitjen, next to Sintes-Galindo. But here comes Weitjen. He's going to try and go around the outside of Hugh Haycox. Look at this, all the classes going to come together in turn 1 again.
Ooh, late braking, which is of course possible. But everyone plays together here.
Very tight stuff as Sintes-Galindo freed finally from behind us. Well, it's a little bit of bouncing over the sausage curve from Haycox. He's able to hang on to it, but Weitjen trying to make his way by, and they're both going to get by. That's going to free up Letiniemi to battle with his own class, and Haycox and Weitjen to battle with each other.
Yeah, great stuff again. No accidents happening here. Just clean multi-class racing from these people. And also while fighting 4 leads, 4 wins, 4 podiums.
all these drivers very used to doing this multi-class. Many of the 79 drivers drive in the Camel GT series, the formerly named Camel GT series, now named the IMSA Vintage series by iRacing. And everyone in this community very used to the woes of multi-class, but we could see these battles continuing throughout this race. This is Weitjen and Hugh Haycox being caught by Brandon Long in 4th position.
And I can't believe it's already 30 minutes done and just 10 minutes to go. It's so exciting. It's so good looking. It's such good racing.
So Weitjen a little bit too far back this time to really make a challenge to Hugh Haycox in turn 1, but here is the battle for the lead in the GTOs. We have Esko Letaniemi up ahead of Nicky Friesen, with Ian Haycox and Andreas Schuster tucked in behind them. They've got 7.5 seconds back to Emerson Gowden, who's got 5.5 seconds back to Doug Cloud. Look at this, Friesen taking a look to the outside once again, but that defensive line from Esko Letaniemi may leave him open to a little bit of an attack here for Friesen, but Friesen a little bit too far back. And they've got company from Jorge Nieva, who's been struggling to get the 79 around the course here. He's going to be trying to cut his way through, and he's going to take away the racing line from Friesen into the next switchback. But Friesen just lets that go. He's going to hope that Esko Letaniemi gets similarly bottled up, and he's going to. Nieva's going to take the apex away from Letaniemi through this switchback. That's going to bring Friesen back up to Letaniemi.
And again, give and take of multi-class racing, of course. And yeah, and if you have a driver who is struggling with his car tonight, yeah, that's always a thing you have to think for yourself and for the driver in the other class car.
There you see the blue and orange of Alfonso Fernandez, 3rd place in the GTPs, trying to cut his way through the GTP class, completely separated at this point. There's not a gap in that class closer than 2.5 seconds right now. The GTOs and the Lotus 79s are where the action is at. The lead of Lotus 79 separated by 1 second. And this battle for 1st down to 4th position from Esko Letaniemi down to Andreas Schuster in the GTOs, separated by only 2 seconds.
And Esko has a good run, and he can just manage it now onto the straight again. And yeah, it nearly looks like he's even getting away with slipstream.
So Esko with a good exit off of that corner. Ian Haycox trying to grab a little bit of toe there from Alex Calvo Marti down in 8th position. Alex is actually going to take away the apex from Esko Letaniemi, so that's why you see Esko off of the apex there. But look at this, Ian Haycox tucked right in behind Friesen.
So the battle is still on. It's so amazing that this class is staying so packed to the finish of the race. As you said, what was it? GTP was spread by over 2 seconds, I guess, by each car. But these guys here staying closed and packed for the battle, for the best positions.
Absolutely, they're going to have Xavier Baca trying to cut his way through as well in the GTPs. Andreas Schuster currently the rear gunner for this pack of 4. There you see Baca cutting his way through. He gets ahead of Schuster. Now he's cut his way through Haycox and probably Friesen. Nope, he decides better of it. Doesn't take the apex away from Friesen. That's going to keep this battle alive. But Schuster brought right into the back of Ian Haycox by Baca coming through. Ian, though, known for being able to cut his way forward. But look at this. Friesen freed up a little bit as Baca made his way through before the exit of the corner. Letaniemi, though, still with a good gap. You're not missing anything up here at the front of the Lotus 79 field. Still 1 second separating Haycox and Weitjen, and quite frankly, Weitjen has not been able to close that gap, Sebastian.
Yes, so Haycox again, yeah, leading his class, but I think they have to pass the Audis again?
I believe the 79s. I don't think they'll get there, to be honest with you. I think they've already done. Yeah, it's gonna be just a straight fight between the two of them.
Yeah. So Weitjen has to stay close, has to look for the opportunity, and Haycox, yeah, maybe a little bit of sweat there to get the perfect line and the perfect run in every corner, so he not get into a position where he can be attacked.
Andreas Schuster tried to move on Ian Haycox in turn 1 last lap, but couldn't get it done. Haycox able to still hang on. Haycox doesn't want to be fighting with Schuster right now. He wants to be looking up ahead and trying to close back in the gap to Mickey Friesen. You see the sun going down right now as we take a look at Schuster getting passed by Kraytrick in the GTPs. Currently 5:24 virtual standard time here. And it is, in fact, going to be today's date. Actually, it's October 9th, according to the virtual standard time. So, an October race date for these drivers. As we look at the track temps again, 73 out there for the drivers on track. So, it's cooled down a little bit in the closing hours of the day.
Yeah, and also the wind shouldn't be an issue here, which could be with these huge rear wings, of course.
There we see Barry West in third position, Lotus 79. Barry is 32 seconds behind our leaders in the 79s. The lead gap in the 79s has opened up to about 2 seconds. This is 3 wide, crossing the stripe. That's going to be Brendan Lynn trying to cut his way forward in the 79s. And as you can see, Ian Haycox able to speed past Barry West in that 79 that loses speed, but able to brake a lot more due to the heavier downforce on that 79. But the engine power of the Audi should not be questioned. Less than 5 minutes to go, 4.5 minutes to go left in this race.
And I wasn't too familiar with these cars up ahead, but yeah, as you could have seen, the braking zone was here the key factor for the overtake. Not the speed on the straight, but the braking.
Something's happened to Matthias Weidgen. He's now 8.5 seconds, 9 seconds behind Hugh Haycox. And this happened very recently. Going back to take a look, he had a self-spin actually coming out of the hairpin on the back half of the course. Here we're going to see it.
Correntaio, should that be correctly, but yeah. Similar to the spin we have seen before in the Lotus class.
Yeah, just a little bit. Too much rear brake, swinging that car back around. He's now lost his attachment to the lead, 8.5 seconds down from Hugh Haycox. Lead in the GTOs is separated a little bit too. It's now 1.5 seconds between Lettiniemi and Friesen. Friesen, though, in the clutches of Ian Haycox as they've got our leaders in the GTPs coming through now. Alex Ott. Oh, a misshift from Friesen sends Ian Haycox through the second.
And not only Haycox, I think. Yeah, he lost 2 positions.
Yeah, Andreas Schuster snuck through as well.
And remember, Schuster getting spun in the beginning of the race in turn 1.
So Schuster, after having a spin on a very good recovery drive up to 3rd position and trying to now attack Ian Haycox for that 2nd spot. Ian's probably kicking himself because Friesen was a good competitor. He's just wishing Friesen wouldn't have made that misshift because Schuster is known for being quite a dangerous competitor. Alex Ott, I believe, is on his penultimate lap of the race. He'll have 1 more to go next time around. Currently, he's going to be heading into the downhill into the second half of the course, but has currently 11.5 seconds over Aitor Sentes.
And so this is the tightest battle, I guess, we have.
That's true, yes, between Andreas Schuster and Ian Haycox. Mickey Friesen as well part of that battle. There you see Aitor Sentes Galindo second place in the GTPs, sneaking his way through, still about 12 seconds behind Alex Ott.
With just 2 minutes to go, I think Ott is driving a class and overall victory to the end.
Absolutely, and Alex Ott coming out of the final corner now. It's going to be tight as to whether this is the final lap or not. It's going to be up to iRacing to determine whether or not this is the white flag. They did not throw it this time around. 134, and he's been doing 132 flats. So I believe that he's going to have another lap after this one. So this should give an opportunity for Andreas Schuster to keep that battle up with Ian Haycox.
Yeah, that's true, because like if you get now one more lap and you know that, if you don't see the white flag now in the Audis, you know like there is some more opportunity and you don't have to burn all your fire on this lap.
Absolutely. So Schuster gonna try and set something up with Ian Haycox. Ian's just trying to claw his way forward up to Escalante. Schuster starts to be careful though because Frieson's tucked in behind. Ian Haycox clobbering over those sausage curves, bouncing him a little bit offline. But Schuster looks extremely tight in that machine, Sebastian.
Yeah, that's we talked already about the great recovery drive, and now he's closing in on Haycox, and he wants that position. I know. Oh, and he gets that position.
Absolutely. A mischief from Ian Haycox sends him back into the back of the pack. And Schuster now 2 seconds up the road to Esco. It'll be hard to do in one lap, but I know Schuster will give it a shot.
Yes, of course. He's fueled a little bit by rage, maybe, and I know that feeling. That was the point I was trying to talk about, as Haycox did the mischief. Yeah, but in the end, he just can catch him with a perfect lap while time is running out. Is this the last lap? Is it not?
We will see what Alex Ott has just crossed the line and is starting the final lap. So now with a 15-second gap over Aitor Sanchez Galindo, so it looks like Sanchez Galindo's backed it down just a little bit. But Andreas Schuster still under pressure from Ian Haycox and Mickey Friesen right now. And they're going to be joining on to the final lap as they come out of the final corner this time around. They're entering it now.
But you also never know. You need to keep pushing.
Oh.
You need to believe that you can get P1.
And here's Hugh Haycox, our leader in the Lotus 79s, also jumping onto the white flag lap for himself as he goes by our leaders in the GTOs. Well, tries to. Is this going to block up Ian Haycox's opportunity at trying to make a move on Schuster with Hugh Haycox on the outside?
Yeah.
Father blocking son here. A little bit of an unfortunate moment.
Yeah, no time for dad jokes here.
Oh, Ian Haycox kicking himself and blocked up by his own dad. Unfortunate moments there. But that's brought everyone on to the white flag lap. Alex Ott, on the other hand, is coming through the final corners now. A dominant drive from him, pole to potential victory. And Alex Ott is going to go through the final corner and take to the checkered flag.
So a great win, of course, with a dominant performance. But yeah, here we still have the battle going on. Ah, there he is, winning the race. Alex Ott, congratulations.
Absolutely. Alex Ott doing a great job. 15 seconds back to Aitor Sanchez Galindo, so a very dominant drive. Hugh Haycox, our leader in the Lotus 79s, is just coming into the final sector as we see Aitor coming across the line to finish this race. Hugh Haycox, though, in the final sector himself, a very powerful drive for a driver that did a full season in the GTPs. I believe he raced a few times in the in the Lotus 79, sliding it through the final corner, powering out. He's going to get it done with 11 and a half seconds back to Matthias Weitjen. A strong performance from Hugh today. Ian Haycox and Andreas Schuster side by side for second position as Esko Letaniemi is going to take the victory up ahead of them, but it's going to be a straight shootout between Ian and Andreas has got the nose ahead, and he's going to take second away from Ian Haycox.
And so there was the move by Haycox on Andreas, but in the end, yeah, by half of a car hood, he takes P2.
Well, that's going to take us to a short break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll have the unofficial results and as well as some driver interviews, so don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome back to the KameLotus Grand Prix of 79 here at Mugello. I only get to see that twice, so I wanted to say it again. It was an exciting race here between these three classes, but in the end, Alex Ott, with a dominant performance from pole to victory, finishes in first place with Heitor Sintes Galindo 15 seconds back. Alfonso Fernandez ended up being nearly a lap back, 53 seconds back there. With Xavier Baca in fourth and Javier Del Olmo down there in fifth position after having that spin earlier on in the race. Martin Krajcik struggled with a very loose setup, finishing in sixth position, and Brendan Lim had some trouble that set him back a full lap. Hugh Haycox won in the Lotus 79s over Matthias Weichen, who had a spin through the middle sector of the course, unfortunately, that set him back about 12 seconds. Then we have Alex Calvo Marti finishing down in 8th position in the GTP's 10th overall, Sebastian.
And on the second page, we have Barry West in P11, Jorge Nieva, who struggled much but made it up to P12. Byron Long in P13, and then we have Esko Lati Niemi, who did win the GTO class. Andreas Schuster in P2, just etching out Ian Haycox in P3. Mickey Friesen in P17, then Emerson Gaudin in P18. Doug Cloud also was, had some trouble in P19, and Danny Switzer in P20.
Oh, the rest of the drivers don't want to talk about their days. Tim Hendrickson, Shady Ahmad, Oyer Zemiola, and Christian Ribas, who did not start the race. We do have some drivers to talk to us. Alex Ott has joined us. Pole to victory, Alex, but how was it out there with three classes, especially the 79? One that is not normally one we do multi-class with very often. How was it for you today?
Yeah, it was pretty weird to see the Lotus track today. In combination with the Audis, it made for some pretty hectic few corners sometimes. But yeah, it was fun. I hoped to have a bit more participation, but yeah, it was just enough.
Yeah, and this is the second time, I believe, that either of these series have visited Mugello. Well, I think the third time if you count the one season where both of the series did it. But what were your thoughts about taking the GTP around this track here in iRacing?
Oh man, this track is easily my favorite track now. It's so much fun to drive the Nissan around here. It's crazy fast, high downforce. It was really fun just to hot lap the thing the whole race. And
next season for what is now the IMSA Vintage Series, formerly Camel GT, starts up next week at VIR. Are we expecting to see you there? And also, will you be doing the Lotus 79 series, or are you just going to stick with the IMSA Vintage Series?
Yeah, I still call it Camel, but yeah, it's in IMSA Vintage now, because the name. I race both when I can, so I really like to race the Lotus. Just begun maybe the last 3 races with the Lotus, and I'm blessed, so I will also race the Lotus. But yeah, also the Nissan, Audi, those 3 cars are great.
Well, Alex, congratulations on the win today. I'm glad you had some fun, and we look forward to seeing you next season in both of those cars.
Thank you, guys. Have fun.
That was Alex Ott, our winner in the Nissan GTPs. Second place in the Nissan GTPs was Heitor Sintes Galindo, and he's catching up with Sebastian.
Yeah, congratulations to P2 from me, and there were many questions about the car, but foremost I want to ask, like, how was the traffic management for you? Was there any spot where you did feel afraid for making the switch back on the slower classes?
Well, let's just discuss which corners to not get scared on if you have an Audi side by side. But I mean, this track with so many fast corners, being wide, it's actually easy to pass with deal with the traffic than most other tracks. I would say that for a traffic management track. It's a very, very good track for this. Apart from being easily one of the best tracks for the Nissan, as Alex said, it's a very fun track to drive with all sweepers and corners. So yeah, it's Mugello is a 10 out of 10 for Camel. I'm not gonna call it IMSA. I'm sorry. I prefer to call it Camel. And yeah, it's a very good combination.
Yeah, and I also did feel like that was the point of what I tried to, get out of this. I think everyone did drive perfectly tonight. Perfect multi-class racing here, having the view in the mirror, and yeah, also the view for the other classes. So yeah, congratulations again to P2. And how are you looking forward to the next season? Is Virginia a track for you? Where if you love this track, maybe Virginia is a total different ball game then.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very different track, but still a very fun track to drive with the Nissan as well. Very sketchy with the traffic in that one, but yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm not gonna be able to attend that week, so that's a zero for me. Even though I already said that I want to do a full season. It's the first week; it's a zero already. It's not ideal, but we'll make it out. But yeah, regardless, I will look forward to this season. But in general, I want to fight with Alex. Well, try to. He's run away as per usual. And yeah, looking forward to the season.
Yeah, I wish you good luck catching Alex then in the next season. And yeah, see you around. Thank you.
Thank you everybody, and see you in the next week, in a couple of weeks.
That was Aitor Sentes Guanda, who finished second place in the GTPs, and that's going to bring us to a close here for the KameLotus Grand Prix of 79. I want to give a big thank you to the vintage racing community here on iRacing for bringing us back for this broadcast, and we look forward to another season of exciting racing in the newly branded IMSA Vintage Series, the Grand Prix Legends Series, which is the Lotus 49s, and the Lotus 79 Series. And thanks to the team here at GSRC, Sebastian, Bobbert, and Dougie. Be sure to check out our social media websites and merchandise store here on your screen, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss out on a moment here on GSRC. Next season for the IMSA Vintage Series, formerly Camel GT, starts next week at VIR, December 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern. But what's on right now, or coming up in about 10 minutes, is going to be the PT Autosport East Series right here on GSRC. So click on our channel logo and go tune in for that one. But until then, we hope you've enjoyed joining us for this race as much as we've enjoyed bringing this racing to you. And we hope to see you back again on this racing season next season. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.